So essentially, the Gathering of Voices is a seasonal event in which we invite both our community members and organizational allies to join us for a feast and conversation. It's about learning, listening, and working together.
It's a seasonal gathering, so the plan is to do it 4 times a year. Each subsequent gathering will build off of the previous ones, and so we're hoping that we'll gain some traction, we'll build momentum, the event will grow and grow, and then that's going to help shape the work that advocacy does, but also sort of create this reciprocal relationship between the folks that we support in the community, the staff at First Light, and our outside organizational partners to kind of ground the work that we do together and make sure that everybody is focused on the goals of the Indigenous community.
Working on the front line, we hear stories from community members every day about their hardships in different systems within the province. And I think the Gathering of Voices gives folks an opportunity and a safe space to share those stories with broader community allies. A lot of our community members do not have the opportunity to sit down with change makers. So at each gathering, we invite our community members to share stories about their experiences as Indigenous people. For this Gathering of Voices, we invited Jordan Lawrence and Brenda Blake to be our storytellers.
So my story was about leaving home around 18 and going to St. John's and really feeling like I didn't have a community that supported my Mi'kmaq culture, our history, our identities. I was lucky enough to meet other Mi'kmaq people and learn about our histories that weren't really told in school or told broadly in our communities. And I became really focused on how the omission or erasure of history, identities, and cultures from education, from political systems, continues to isolate and alienate people when they move to the city.
I wanted to bring up some personal experiences that I've had within the medical care industry here in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, especially growing up in Labrador and the type of effects that it has on myself and other people who have experienced these types of things. I used to work as a medical transportation driver within First Light, and I've heard so many stories from clients that I picked up, and I wanted to make sure that their voices were being heard as well.
Because the concept of the Gathering of Voices came out of this idea of keeping culture and community as the focus of the work that we do. We are doing our best to create spaces that are decolonized and that sort of focus on Indigenous ways of knowing and being. So that's the concept of the circle of circles. So all of the discussions that happen at the Gathering of Voices happen as in the format of a circle discussion. And the idea of that is that everybody is equal in the circle, that everybody's voices matter, and that we all contribute to the conversation.
The reason I think it's so important to share not just my story, but our stories is because we all have something to give. We're all equally important in changing systems. And the more we share our stories, the more we can connect with each other. We get to see common threads in our experiences that bring us closer together and allow us to, I guess, create a sense of community that comes up against these systems of power that choose to not represent us or push us to the side. The more of our stories out there, the more people hear them, and that's an education experience. And if people aren't exposed to education, then they can't learn, and that's not their fault if they're not exposed to it. So I really believe that coming together and sharing community stories, our stories, creates a more wholesome idea of what the urban Indigenous community is. We're a multitude of things and experiences, and we come from different places, and we have different understandings of what the reality is. And so when we start putting those things together, we get this really great tapestry of collective understanding. And I think that that's what will help us move things forward in a positive way.
One of the things that makes the Gathering of Voices interesting is that it's an advocacy event combined with a community feast. For me, the real goal of the Gathering of Voices was to gather the voices, was to bring people together, community, First Light staff, and our outside partners all sitting at a table together, sharing a meal. I mean, traditionally, that's how we've gathered. Maui Omis have been held in Mi'kma'ki for thousands of years. Sharing our hospitality is such an important part of our culture, and being able to see that come out of a First Light event was like such a beautiful thing. Like everybody eating cake and having moose stew and rolls and cookies and having a good time, and leaving with full bellies and full hearts.
So my experience at the Gathering of Voices was really positive, sharing a story with my community and for people in the room that were from government, from education systems, from community sectors. I thought it was a really beautiful way to, like I said, educate them on the experiences of the urban Indigenous population without having them have to read it in a book or something. I think it really helped personalize the situation.
I think the Gathering of Voices is a great way for people to voice their concerns who otherwise wouldn't have that opportunity. It allows them to let people know, let the government officials know, let whoever know how they're being affected and how the decisions that are being made is affecting their lives on all different levels, personal, professional, what have you. I'm thankful that some people heard and some people were responding to what was being said.
It was just beautiful the way that we can come together and feel vulnerable enough to try and move things forward. But my experience was really beautiful. I really appreciate being invited.
I'd love to thank our storytellers and acknowledge the fact that without them and their stories and their voices, that an event like the Gathering of Voices wouldn't be possible. So thank you very much.